Namaste yogis, welcome. Thank you so much for watching. So for today's neck practice, you want to have a strap handy. Just have it next to you. If you can have, if you have 2 or 3 blankets available or towels, big towels, you can bring them in. And also either a pillow or a bolster. So we're gonna lay down on Shavasana. Instead of using a chair today, we're gonna use a pillow or a bolster. And for your blanket or your towel, you want to fold it, just having about 5 inches wide, and to place it under your lumbar spine. You don't have to have it too thick, about an inch or so thick it should do. If you want a deeper arch, you can make it a little thicker, but don't go so deep, so high with the blanket that it makes your back arch so much. And then for the other support for your upper back, we're gonna make a noodle. So see how we have been folding the blanket from the short end just to create just a small noodle. If you wanna make a long noodle, it's not big deal. You just put it higher so that one end of the noodle will be right between your shoulder blades. So let us get set up. Sit on the floor between your blanket and your bolster. And then lay down and start moving that other blanket until you find that space between the shoulder blades. So depending on the size of the blanket, you may rest the head still on it. Some of you, that's why I said maybe have an extra prop. If you have a block, you can do a block or an extra blanket, just so that you can have extra support under the head. This is not for everybody. For me, it actually feels really good. But if you don't need it, you can rest your head, just elongate it right on the noodle. So pay attention, notice what works for you. Relax your legs onto the bolster or pillow. Bring your hands by your sides, palms facing up. Close your eyes. And feel free to make as many adjustments as you need so that you are very, very relaxed. So here, although we are relaxing the hamstrings, you want to adjust the blanket that you're placing on your lumbar so that you can feel supported. You don't feel like the blanket is lifting you, that is putting pressure on your back. It feels like it's supporting its natural curvature. So go ahead and play around with the blanket until you find that place for you. Relax your shoulders towards the floor. They won't touch the floor, and that's okay. We just want the extension of the pectoral muscles. Bring your hands at a comfortable place by your sides. Relax your fingers. If you need to readjust your head, remember we have the option to place the hands behind the neck, lift the head a little bit, slide your hands towards the top of the head, and then release. And that will give you a nice traction of the cervical spine. Let your shoulders release towards the floor. You may squeeze the blanket with your shoulder blades and then relax. And start scanning your body. From bottom to top, bring the awareness down to your feet. You can point or flex your one foot and extend your leg and then release on your prop, and do the same thing with the other leg so that you find extension of the hamstrings and then full relaxation. Relax the feet completely, toes and foot soles. Relax the top of your feet. Relax your ankles. Relax your shins, your calves. Relax your knees, the front and the back of your knees. Inner, outer edges of the knees. Relax your thighs, your hamstrings. Relax your buttocks. Relax your hips. Let your hips be heavy. See if you feel even or you feel a little crooked. Try to balance your weight on left and right. Make sure your blankets or your blanket was folded evenly, because that can tilt you. Relax your tummy your upper back, your shoulders, your neck, your arms and your hands. Your fingers are curled naturally into your palms. No tension, no effort, just relaxation. Relax your face, your jaw. Maybe have a little bit of space between your teeth. Maybe open your mouth wide and then close it, but without tensing, without letting the teeth touch. Place the tongue at the roof of the mouth. Keep your eyelids softly closed, and then begin breathing deeply into the lower parts of your belly, rising. And exhale, falling. Rising. Falling. Continue to breathe maybe a little deeper with each round. Start filling up your belly, your side ribs, all the way up to the chest. Dirga Pranayama, the yogic breath. Exhale from the chest, side ribs and belly. Rising and falling. Don't let your mind wander. Take one more breath here, full deep breath. Wiggle your fingers. Extend your arms out to the sides. Notice as soon as your arms go to a T position, how you can feel your shoulder blades squeezing against the blanket. You might notice one side more than the other, so start paying attention to the disparities between left and right. We're gonna move as slowly as possible. Try to match the movement to the pace of the breath. Bend your elbows and rest your fingertips to the top of the shoulders. The elbows are on the floor still. And once again, pay attention, how does this feel? If left and right feel even, or you feel maybe more sensation on one side or the other. Your fingers are soft, just resting at the top of the shoulders. Inhale deeply here. And as you exhale, very mindfully move your elbows down towards the rib cage, across the floor, like if you were drawing a snow angel with the elbows. As you inhale, move your elbows out to the sides and start bringing the elbows towards the back, towards the upper corners of the mat. Exhale, elbows down. Continue at your own pace. Your elbows may not touch the floor. If you find that touching the floor, it's too intense for your back, maybe you start putting too much demand on your thoracic spine, then lift the elbows an inch or more, maybe at the level of the shoulders. So play around it. Try not to let your ribcage stick out. It's still lifted because we have the blanket under the upper back. But do watch it to keep your back relaxed. The other thing you want to watch for here is that when your elbows move towards the upper corners of your mat, don't let your shoulders come up towards the ears. Try to use your fingers to measure and make sure that, yes, there will be movement, but you're not closing the space between the shoulders and the ears. You still have a neck. Find your rhythm. Inhale, elbows up, and exhale, elbows down. Do not go so far with your elbows that it starts pinching on your shoulders. Do not go so far that it starts hurting your neck. Keep your jaw, your face relaxed. Notice if your legs and your glutes are trying to help. If along this movement you find a spot of tension and it feels right to massage your back or the space between the shoulder blades against the blanket, you can stay there and bounce your arms, and you can play around with the motion so that you can get a nice massage, and then continue to move with your breath. Legs and glutes are relaxed. One more breath, and when your elbows return down by your rib cage, relax and observe. Keep your hands by your sides, palms facing up. You may rotate your wrist if you need some relief. Scan your body once again. Notice if there are muscles that are engaged and you want to let them go. If it's your glutes and you're having a hard time getting to release your buttocks, you can actively engage them. You can give them a big squeeze and then let them go, and that usually helps. Same with the legs. If your legs tend to engage a lot and you're just trying to relax them and you don't seem to get them to relax, squeeze them and then let them go. And once you feel your whole body nicely relaxed, you're going to bring your fingertips again towards the top of the shoulders. Elbows out to the sides. Take a long deep inhalation here. And as you exhale, bring your elbows close to the front. You may touch, you may bring them to touch, but you don't have to. And inhale, elbows out to the sides. Find your rhythm. And just like we did at the beginning, you try to not go so far so that your shoulders come up towards the ears. You want to keep your shoulders relaxed down. Stay away from pinching sensation, torquing sensation. For some people, will work to touch the floor. For some, this is going to be too much, so you can stay off the ground. For some people, it will be easy to bring the elbows to touch. For some of us, it won't. So it's not worth it because there's no goal of bringing them all the way out or in. And just find that range of motion that works for you. Match the movement to the breath. That you do want to work on. If your mind needs a goal, let the goal be the breath. elongate your breath rather than looking certain way with the movement. Let your breath be long and peaceful. I need to see you guys. I have been talking Spanglish for too long, and now I just, yeah. I can hear it. Three more breaths. When you finish with your 3 breaths, you're gonna bring your hands to the sides again. Relax and observe. Now, when you are ready, take your strap and have it shoulder width apart. So, you're gonna have it shoulder width apart. You hold it so that you can see your wrist and your elbows over the shoulders. Keep your lower body relaxed. And as you take your next inhalation, bring your arms overhead. Try not to let the rib cage pop up. And as you exhale, bring your arms forward, up and forward. Feel the movement against the blanket. Inhale, arms back. So, because we are using the strap to keep the arms shoulder width apart, when we don't have the prop, the mind asks us to go all the way back towards the floor. So then we start bringing the arms wider on a V shape. So it's hard to really keep the arms shoulder width apart when we go into this extension. So watch it. You're holding on the strap, but you're not tensing your hands too much. It's just there to keep the distance between the arms. Do you feel one arm trying to go faster than the other? Does it feel like your strap is kind of crooked? You're leading with the one arm. Can you try to keep them even? If one arm wants to go farther, can you match it instead of forcing the one side to try to go that far if it doesn't want to? 3 more. And when you are ready, release your strap to the side, palms facing up, watch your breath. Wiggle your toes and fingers. Move your feet side to side. Stretch your arms overhead, stretch your legs, and tense and squeeze. Press your back against the floor, tight, tight, tight. Prune face. Exhale, release. Bend your knees, bring your foot soles on your prop or on the floor, and move on to your favorite side. Take a few moments. And on your next exhalation, use your top hand to slowly help yourself up. So we're gonna go back to the floor to work with the lower body. You can take your prop out of the way. Now, the noodle that you had under your upper back, you're gonna place it under your sacrum. So you can have it right on top of the other blanket if you want a little bit of height. Some of you, if you have the bolster, you are welcome to use the bolster. If your pillow is firm, you can use the pillow, but the pillow usually is too soft, so then it flattens really quickly. At least mine does that. So instead of using a bolster, I choose to use the blanket so then I can show you, because most of you won't have a bolster at home. Okay, here. So if you would like to go a little higher, if you want to try it, the same thing that you did with the noodle for the upper back, you can wrap another blanket just to make it a little bit thicker and place it on top of the other blanket. So it will still flatten, but it will give you more height for your hips. Now, be mindful of how you enter this, because the bolster is easier to put it underneath from a bridge pose. The blankets will be a hard thing to get and not get them unfold. So from here, gonna get right here the edge of your tailbone against the edge of the blankets, and then be mindful, come up. So almost like going onto, okay, never mind. Okay, here, go up, and then start helping yourself down. Because what you want is when you get down there is onto the floor, is that you want the blankets under your sacrum. So you don't want them on your lower back anymore. This time your lower back is going to move towards the floor. Keep your foot soles on the ground, and you might notice how my back starts slouching. That's what you want. So try to avoid going so deep that your buttocks is falling. This feels awesome, and we can do it after, but right now we're gonna work into elongating the lumbar spine. We're gonna put some demand there. Tucking the tailbone will help to work with our hamstrings. All right, so no support under the head. If you need support, make sure it's very, very thin, because we don't want to extend the neck too much. Maybe pass the hands on the back of the neck and then the head, and then release it on the ground. So elongation is okay, but not hyperextension. So your toes and your knees are about fist distance apart, and you start noticing your back rounding. Place a strap on the ball of the right foot, and then extend your leg. And breathe here. Take your time to get the stretch that suits your body, so it won't look the same that maybe it looked the last time you did this. Usually the body changes depending what we have been doing. If you have been doing a lot of gardening and squatting, probably your hamstrings are not as limber as they were before you did that. Your left foot is active, so you want your left toes lifted. Breathe deeply here. Now, the other thing is that sometimes the mind says it has to look a certain way, so then we force the leg into looking like that. So we bring it really high, and then we bend the knee. And then we want to extend the knee. We might hear that it's not a good thing to fully extend the knee, but I tell you, it's okay. As long as you're not pinching it, extend it, and just be mindful. You're not hyperextending it. Spread your toes. Engage your quads so that your knee is protected. Deep breathing here. Left foot is active. We'll take one more breath, full deep breath. Now, if it works for you, extend your left leg onto the floor, rest the heel on the ground, and then relax. Now, it doesn't matter if the left knee is extended. You can just relax here because that won't work for everybody. Make sure it's okay for the hip. When you are ready, you're going to turn your right toes out to the right. Kneecap follows the toes. And exhale, toes to the left. Inhale, toes out to the right. And exhale, toes to the left. Do 8 more for a total of 10. Make sure that your leg muscles are active. The movement comes right from the hip, not from the knee, not from the ankle. The neck is relaxed. You're not putting the weight on the neck, but on the shoulders. Try to keep the elbows on the floor. When you're done with your 10 rounds, come back to center and breathe. I'm going to take one more breath, full deep breath. And when you're ready, hold the strap with the opposite hand, with your left hand. Bring your right hand at a T position. Inhale here. And as you exhale, move your leg towards the left without letting the right glute leave the floor. So we get that nice extension through the hip tensor, flexing the foot. Don't overdo it. It is important. Play around with the position of the leg. So for some of us to get that stretch, we need to move the leg lower or higher. So it's different. Make sure it doesn't pinch your hip. Next time you inhale, slowly and with control, come back up. Hold the strap with the opposite hand. And as you exhale, move your leg out towards the right. Now, you want to have that strap on the ball of the foot, not the heel, not the arch. And you don't need to go so far out to the side. You can bend the knee if it's too much, or don't go that far. Use the strap for extra support. If you are quite flexible, don't let your leg just drop. Find that place of resistance where you feel the engagement of your hips and try to keep your pelvis parallel to the floor so your left glute stays grounded. Breathe. Both feet are flexed. Then next time you inhale, slowly and mindfully, bring your leg up. Take a few moments, maybe hold the strap with both hands, flexing the foot. And with control, use the strap to help your leg down on your next breath. Release your foot. Take a few moments, observe. If this doesn't bother your lower back, you can extend your legs, feel that compression on your lumbar spine, and it's okay as long as it doesn't pinch. Relax your jaw, your face, watch your breath. If it pinches, you can bend your knees and round your back once more. Control the arch on your back, walk your feet farther until you get that placement of the pelvis that supports your lumbar spine, and some of you will extend and let go. We'll take 3 more breaths here. When you are ready, gonna bend your knees, bring your foot soles on the floor. Once again, go onto a slouching of your back, so pubic bone is higher than the hips. Toes and knees point straight forward. Take your strap and place it on the ball of the left foot. And then extend your leg. And we're gonna start once again checking in with the leg, what works. And it might look different than the other side, so don't force it, don't try to match it. Whatever you did, just try to find the range of motion that will work for you. If this one goes a little farther, if you can, actually bring it back. So you only match down, if that makes any sense. So you will try to match your non-dominant side, because the dominant side already has the extra range of motion. We won't force the non-dominant side to match it, but we can actually do the opposite, try to find that balance by not overdoing that one side that is the good side, so that we don't continue to perpetuate that compensation. Flex that left foot, breathe deeply. Left foot is active, your quad is active, you feel the stretch of the back of the leg. Awesome. Now, if you did on the other side, you can do on this side too. You can extend the right leg and release the foot. Don't have to fully extend the knee, remember, of the bottom leg. And as you inhale, turn your toes out to the left, kneecap points with the toes. Exhale, toes and knee to the right. 10 of those. Inhale, toes out, and exhale, toes in. Legs are engaged. Leg is engaged, but both actually. You want to move the whole leg. We have different range of motion, so maybe toes out feels more comfortable, or if you look at your foot, maybe your toes really are able to go out to the side, not so much in, or vice versa. If you have more of an internal rotation on your hip, your toes will point all the way to the left and not so much to the right. And just notice how that feels on your hip. What muscles are working as you turn in and out. And when you are done with your 10, come back to center and breathe. You may flex the bottom foot and hold the strap with the opposite hand. So holding it with the right hand. And on your next, bring your left hand at a T position, and as you exhale, move your leg to the right. And once again, we keep the glute on the blanket or bolster. Breathe. On your next inhalation, be mindful, bring your leg back up. Hold the strap with the opposite hand, with the other hand. and bring your right hand at a T position. And when you're ready, let your leg go out to the left. And once again, you're not gonna try to go and to the deepest of your extension. You're gonna find a place where you can feel some resistance. Your hips are working. Keep pressing through the right heel so that your hip is balanced. Don't let your pelvis go all the way towards the left. And once you find that place that works for you, relax and breathe. Well, not relax, hold and breathe. You can relax, but also engage. On your next breath, be mindful. Bring yourself back up. Hold the strap with both hands. Flex your foot. Feel your quad. And you can help your leg down to the floor using the strap. And once again, once you get down onto the floor, you can take your strap out of the way. If this bothers your back, remember, bring your feet closer until you find the tilt that works for you. Otherwise, let go here. Relax your jaw, your face, your neck, your shoulders. Watch your breath. On this one, those of you who were craving an arch on your back, on your lower back, you can place your bolster or your pillow a little higher. Just make sure it's not pinching. This is important. This time, however, you keep your foot soles on the floor. If you want more, you can start walking your feet far away from you until you find the stretch that works. Don't overdo it if you're going for this. Make sure it feels all right. If you get into a sensation that feels injurious in any way, you're doubting like whether you should be feeling that, get out of it mindfully. It's usually you shouldn't be there if you're doubting. The body knows best. It's just that we are so used to dismiss when it's talking to us. But if we are committed to listen to it, you'll keep yourself safe. You'll get stronger over time. We'll take one more breath. And when you are ready, gonna wiggle your toes, bend your knees, and bring your foot soles on the floor. This time, we're gonna take the blankets or bolster out of the way, squeeze your buttocks, lift the hips, and move your props to the sides and out of the way. Release your hips onto the floor. Extend your legs and relax, and notice how close to the floor you feel now. Notice how grounded your legs are. You can walk your feet away from the body. You can walk your shoulder blades together and down and press your back onto the floor. Squeeze your bum and then release. Really watch the connection to the ground. Full moon energy brings us up, away from earth. The mind wanders a little more than usual. We might find feeling a little more anxious than usual. So notice if that's the case, and notice how this back body stretches help you to get a little closer to the floor. It helps to tone your nervous system. We're gonna take 5 deep belly breaths. You can place your hands on your tummy if you like, so you can feel it expanding. Inhale, filling up. All the way to the chest. Exhale, chest. side ribs, and belly down. Inhale into your belly. Back body, side ribs and chest. Exhale, chest, side ribs, and belly. 3 more breaths. One more breath. Relax your hands. Observe. Wiggle your toes and fingers. Interlace your fingers. Flip your palms back. Bring your legs together. Stretch every muscle. Push your palms away from you. Move your rib cage towards your hands. Toes point away from you. Pelvis push back away towards the toes, creating space between your hips and your rib cage. Stretch and breathe. Stretch and breathe. Flex your feet, press your heels away from you. Keep pressing your palms away from the feet. Press your back down onto the floor and breathe. Deep breathing into your belly. One more breath. And release. Observe. Bend your knees, bring your foot soles on the floor, move onto your favorite side. Take a few moments here. Use your top hand to help yourself up on your next exhalation. Now once here, you can have your bolster or your blankets. If you need a blanket under your knees, you can have the bottom blanket and place it under the knees. And find your tabletop. Rest your elbows on your bolster or your blankets. Hug your elbows, make sure that they are shoulder width apart, and you're gonna allow your tummy to relax and drop towards the floor. You want your back to sway. You can bring your palms to touch and go onto a shoulder dip. Relax your neck, maybe rest your forehead on your blanket or your bolster. Think about the top of the feet pressing to the floor. If you're cramping, curl the toes under, that's okay. So find what works for you today. Breathe. So in this position, this is not like a half plank, so you are not engaging your core. You are letting your tummy drop. Think of a horse on the field, an old horse, one of my teachers used to say, and you think about that back going as far down to the floor. You want this lordosis in your back. Your tailbone is rising like a cow stretch. Now, some of you are quite flexible, and what your body's gonna try to do is to get your chest towards the thighs and extend the arms so that you get a deeper extension through the shoulders. If you can resist the urge to do that, especially those who are quite flexible on your shoulders, and instead you go and stack your shoulders over the elbows, that will make a difference. So you're not putting the mat on your tummy. Your hips might be slightly in front of your knees, not right over them. But if you find that your belly is engaging, maybe walk your knees closer to the elbows so that you can relax the lower body, the belly. Your upper body is not quite relaxed since your shoulders are active. Although you're in a shoulder dip, you will start feeling the rotator cuff talking to you. Make sure it's not pinching. Make sure you're not in pain. Your shoulder blades are squeezing towards each other at the upper back. Observe. Keep your jaw relaxed, your neck relaxed. Your head might be dropping, but if that doesn't feel good, you can keep the back of the head in line with the spine so your gaze down towards the floor. Now find the one that works for you. We'll take 2 more breaths, full deep breaths. With control, bring your head a little higher, push your shoulder blades apart, press your forearms against your prop, and be mindful as you bring your hands on your bolster maybe, or on your props. You can bring them on the floor. Push away from you, push your hands away from you. Hollow up your armpits, draw your blades together, let your head dangle and move your head side to side. If you find spots of tension, you can stay there and move gently to get a deeper stretch through the sides of the neck, the back of the neck, whatever the body is calling for. When you are ready, come back to center, curl your toes under, and with control, start walking your hands back. Now, for your toes, you might uncurl the pinky. Usually the pinky doesn't want to go, doesn't want to curl that easily, depending. Mine needs an extra help, so check with yours. If sitting back on your heels is too intense for your feet, you can bring your cupcake hands to the floor. You could also bring your bolster closer to you to get extra support so you don't put all the weight onto your feet. You could also go onto tabletop position, towards tabletop, or all the way to tabletop. So play around with the position until you find that one that works for you. If you have a bucket in your mind, put it right there. Whatever is coming to mind, right into the bucket. Right into the bucket. Breathe deeply. So if you suffer from plantar fasciitis, if your feet have been, you have been struggling, once again, if you're doing lots of gardening, your body's gonna thank you for this one later. Maybe not right away, but later it will. And maybe shift side to side so that you're putting some, you're stretching also the outer edges of your feet. Watch it, don't overdo it. Remember, you can always move your body forward so you're not putting all the weight on your feet. We're gonna take 2 more breaths here. Suddenly I'm breathing really fast. So when you are ready, you're gonna walk your hands forward onto tabletop. Lift your feet. Take a few moments. Rotate your feet one way and the other. Spread your toes wide. Wiggle them as you spread them. Wiggle them, wiggle them. Spread them as much as you can. If you cannot spread your toes, imagine as if you were. And start creating new connections from your brain to your feet. Curl the toes under just a little bit. Curl them in, curl them in. And then tense them, spread them, and move them. Or imagine as if you were. And then curl them again. Maybe a little more this time. That nice blood rushing down to your feet and your toes. We're gonna spread and move as you tense them. If you suffer from circulation problems with your feet and your legs, this will help start creating that movement again so you get better circulation. Perfect. Tap the top of the feet on the floor. And when you're ready, walk your hands all the way up, standing on your knees. Squeeze your bum, press pubic bone slightly forward so your hip bones and pubic bone are balanced. If your rib cage is popping forward like mine, throw your rib cage in. Arms away, shoulders down, away from the ears, arms by your sides, palms facing down. Curl the tips of the fingers into your palms and circle your arms forward. Let's do 40 circles. Keep your shoulders away from the ears. You breathe slowly, but move a little faster. The movement is not too big. It's tiny movements, like 6 inches circles. Notice how, as you put the mat on your upper back, your lower body is responding. Maybe flip your palms up and 40 circles backwards, fast. And when you're done with your 40, release your arms, shoulders back and down, breathe. And when you're ready, hands on the floor or on your props, curl the toes under, shift your weight back and come up onto your standing position and shake the tension off. We're gonna continue to use our props. If you have blocks at home, you can use your blocks. If not, we're gonna go against the wall. If you are working on a carpet, then it's okay. You can, if you have socks and you don't slide, that's fine. If you are working on a hard wood, you want to bring your mat or take your socks off, because otherwise you're gonna feel like sliding. So you want to have your prop like about 5 inches Space between your knees, about 2 fist distance, and sit against the wall. You don't have to go at a 90-degree angle with the knees, so just a quarter of a squat will do. You will still work hard, so don't worry too much about how far you go. Okay, so I am sliding, so I will have to move my mat. Perfect. Lift the toes, tuck your tailbone, so you want to press the lower back against the wall. And when you're ready, bring your hands by your sides, lift your toes, and breathe. Palms face forward. Tuck your chin slightly. And if you can, press your upper back against the wall, press your rib cage against the wall, press your lumbar spine against the wall. Press your heels onto the floor, lift the toes, and breathe. The next time you exhale, squeeze your blanket or your blocks. Inhale, release. Exhale, squeeze. Inhale, release. Exhale. 2 more. And hold. Now squeeze as much as you can, and now we're going to squeeze and release really fast, only halfway. Your breath slowly, your movements fast. So we're going to be using the timer this time. Keep pressing through the heels. Try to continue to press your lower back against the wall. See if that's not happening any longer. Do your best to keep your rib cage against the wall. Try to relax your glutes, although they're going to try to help the inner thighs. If you have knee problems, this is going to help you to deal with knee pain, rotating the knees, engaging your inner thighs to stabilize your pelvis again. You want the activation of your feet. The connection between your feet and your hips is very, very close, very tight. So you want them to work together to help you to stay without pain. All right, the next time you exhale, squeeze tight. And inhale, release. Awesome. Take your props out of the way. And come up and walk it out and shake the tension off. Oh, I don't know about you guys, but my bucket was out. All right, so we're going to go back onto the floor. No fancy way. You can have your bolster or your pillow under your legs, or you can go straight down to the floor, whatever works for you. Extend your arms, your legs, and just pay attention to your energy. Compare how you feel now from how you felt when you started the practice. Begin by noticing the breath, the quality of the breath, hopefully have changed. You might find that the flow of prana easily travels through your channels. Notice the sensations of your legs, your hips, the sensations of your hips and your back. Notice your shoulders and your arms, your hands. Notice your neck, your jaw, and your face. Final asana, Supta Konasana. So bend your knees, bring your foot soles on the floor, tuck your tailbone, and then bring your foot soles to touch, knees flare. You can have your prop under the knees, remember. Balance your pubic bone and your hip bones. Release your rib cage on the floor. Bring your hands towards the sky, shoulders back and down. Relax the jaw. So you want your arms right over the shoulders. Your palms are facing but not touching. Japanese meditation is a wonderful way to get the inversion effect that it brings all that pranic energy into your brain, into your heart. You start feeling the draining of the blood in your hands. So at one point, they start feeling cooler. So you want to use those sensations as your main focus. Don't let your mind go away and breathe mindfully. Remember that Japanese meditation is a wonderful way to boost your energy, but keeping your nervous system toned so that your energy is balanced. You have access to your source of prana, so you can go about your day, your tasks, without feeling lethargic or spacey, but not so much energy that you start feeling a little bit uneasy and ungrounded. We'll take one more breath here, full deep breath. And when you are ready, very slowly and mindfully, bring your hands on the floor, palms up. With control, bring your knees up and extend your legs. Relax on your Shavasana. If you want to adjust Shavasana, hands under the neck, lift the head, glide your hands, elongate your neck. Draw your blades together and down. Move your arms away from the body and then release. Maybe bend your knees, squeeze your bum, tuck your tailbone, release your back on the ground. Extend one leg at a time and push your heels away from you and then let go. You can stay in Shavasana for as long as you need. Remember, you have the option to pause the video. Otherwise, we'll take 2 more breaths here. Send your breath and awareness down to your feet. Wiggle your toes. Move your feet side to side. Wiggle your fingers. Stretch your arms overhead. Tense every muscle, legs closer together. Squeeze, point, or flex your feet. Tight, tight, tight. Prune face. And exhale, release. Again, stretch and tense and squeeze. Exhale, release. Last one. Squeeze every muscle. Tight, tight, tight. And let all tension go. Move onto your side. When you're ready, take a few moments here. You're going to use your top hand to slowly help yourself up on your next exhalation. And once on your seated position, remember you have your props to sit up tall. Cross-legged position, any way that works for you. You can also sit on your heels if you prefer that. Remove the extra flesh from underneath. Bring your hands together at the center of the heart, shoulders back and down. Relax your jaw and your face. Throw a smile on your face. Breathe. While we were on Shavasana, I just couldn't shake off a song that we used to play in class all the time. And so I thought I will just say it out loud. May the long time sun shines upon you. All love surrounds you. And the purest light within you guide your way on. We're gonna seal our practice with the sound and vibration of Om. We'll take a breath together. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale to Om. Observe. Relax your jaw, your face. Inhale to the top of your lungs. Side out. Again, inhale. Side out. Last one, breathe in. Let all tension out. Tuck your chin onto your chest. Blink your eyes open. Rub your hands together. Get all those good vibes all around you. Shower yourself with them. And remember, use the same energy to shake off all tensions and worries and sadness and stresses. Don't keep them there. Just shake them off. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day. Namaste.